He cheated on me. Long distance had already been wearing down our relationship, but then he found someone new and he cheated. On our 4-year anniversary, I decided to visit him by surprise. I let myself into his apartment, excited to see him, and I caught him in bed with someone else. I closed the door quietly. I left his gifts on the kitchen counter, the ones I had picked out so carefully, and I walked out of the apartment and into my car to think. The shocking thing was not that he had cheated, it was how I reacted. I did not cry, I did not scream, I did not throw anything or fall apart. Sure, I was not happy, but I was not really sad either. It was more like, oh, I guess this is over now. It was fun while it lasted. It barely hurt. It happened, and it felt like it was simply time to move on. Strangely enough, he was the one who fell apart. When I walked back into the apartment, it was just him and me. The girl he had cheated with was nowhere to be seen. He told me he asked her to leave after I walked out. I found him sitting on the couch, his head in his hands, sobbing like the world was ending. I did the only thing I knew how to do. I sat down beside him, put my arm around his shoulders, and let him cry into my chest. He mumbled apologies against me, but they hardly meant anything. At some point, I do not even know when, we ended up lying down together on the couch. He clung to my waist, tucked his head against my shoulder, and fell asleep. When I felt his breathing slow into deep, even rhythms, I got up. Maybe it was out of pity. Maybe it was out of love for the boy I used to know. Maybe it was just because it was easier than feeling angry. But I cleaned up his apartment. I started cooking his favorite meal. I figured he had not eaten properly in days, judging by how much weight he had lost. While I was finishing dinner, he woke up and wrapped his arms around me from behind. I shrugged him off gently, and he went back to the couch without a word. When the food was ready, I took him by the hand and led him to the table. He started crying again at the first bite. Through his tears, he apologized for what felt like the 100th time that day. I stopped him. I asked him to tell me his story instead. He told me he did not want to cheat, but he did it because he thought I did not care anymore. He said he needed someone to show him what I could not. He told me he was still madly in love with me, but he did not know if I felt the same. And maybe I should have said it more. Maybe I should have visited more. Maybe I should have held him longer when we called each other across the miles. But I loved him. I loved him in every little way I knew how. I told him every morning to eat properly, to hydrate, to rest well. I called him because I loved the sound of his voice. I texted him throughout the day. I answered every single call. I sent him handwritten letters because that was how we first met. Pen pals. Was it really not enough? Could I have saved us if I had done more? I will never know. I told him I still loved him, and he looked at me with broken eyes and asked, "Then why are you so calm right now? I cheated on you. You should be livid." I had no answer to give him. I simply did not feel anything at all. I told him I did not know, and I changed the subject. I asked him, "What happens now?" He said he wanted to stay together. He said he would do anything to keep me. Looking back, maybe I was foolish. But I told him I did not want to continue the relationship. He cried again. He begged me to change my mind. I comforted him, but I gave him no answer. We finished our food in silence, sitting together on the couch, half watching whatever show flickered across the television. He washed the dishes while I gathered my things, my clothes, my toiletries, my jewelry, my medicine, packed into a simple mesh laundry bag. It was not dramatic. It was not loud. It was just the end. He carried my bag to my car. At the door, I kissed him on the cheek one last time. I got into my car and drove away. The last thing I saw was him standing in the driveway, staring at his phone. Later, I found out that he slept with one of our old friends from high school that very same night. All I felt was tiredness, and maybe just a little bit of disgust. We ran into each other about a year later at a party. We made small talk. We ended up outside, alone, and I remembered why I had loved him once, why I had loved him so much. I do not think I will ever love someone like that again, and somehow, that thought alone tastes so bittersweet.